Hey guys, it's Lotus and welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about this drama that I just finished watching recently. It's called Yumi Cells, and I want to talk about why I liked it, why I didn't like it, and why it absolutely ripped my heart out. Yeah! I want to kind of rant about it a little bit, and so I figured why not talk to you guys about it. So I'll start off with introducing the show. It's called Yumi Cells, and it came out this year from September 17th through October 30th of 2021. So pretty recent, a few months ago. And there was 14 episodes. So Yumi Cells follows Yumi, who is the main character, and pretty much adds a bit of magical realism into it by personifying. Is that the word, personifying? Pretty much bringing her cells to life, the different aspects of her personality, like her logic and her emotions and her anxiety and stuff like that. And you get to see the inner workings of her brain and her mind and her body and how she functions as a human through the perspective and the lens of her cells that love her and care about her and want to take care of her and make sure that she's okay. So let me start off by reading you the synopsis. Here, the plot summary says, Yumi is an ordinary single working woman. She is not good at expressing her feelings. Through her romantic relationship and work, she grows as a person and finds happiness in her daily life. Yumi has cells in her brain that represent different emotions like love, violence, rationality, good and bad. These tiny cells in her brain work actively for her. They deal with her emotions and troubles. So it's a slice of life, kind of rom-com, with some magical realism added in. So, to introduce to you some of the characters, Yumi is played by Kim Go-eun, which you may recognize her from Goblin. She played the main female lead alongside Gong-yu, who played the Goblin, the male lead. Yeah, and so she's Yumi, and pretty much she is not doing so well in the love department. So 3 years prior to the start of the show, she had just went through a really terrible breakup. Her boyfriend was cheating on her and left her for another woman. And so ever since then, her love cell has been in a coma. Yeah, so she still is able to have crushes, but she can't really tell when she's in love. Her lust cell is working, but her love radar is a little off. And so, actually, before we get into everyone else, let me introduce you to her cells. They are the main stars of the show. These are Yumi's cells, or the most important ones anyway. We see a lot of cameos from some other ones, but these are the ones that make multiple appearances. So, here we've got Rationality Cell. He's the one in charge of logic and reasoning, the one that kind of is the one in charge of everything, and he kind of makes sure that all the other cells are in working order. He's the one that comes out the most. Then we have Love Cell, who is her prime cell. Prime cells are the cells that I think really define a person, and so her love cell, before falling into a coma after her breakup, had been one of her biggest prime cells because her personality was big on love. Then we have Hunger Cell, which is her other prime cell. She has two. And hunger dictates whenever she's hungry. So if she's wants a midnight snack or if she wants to diet, Hunger Cell is the one that kind of decides when that happens. Then we have Emotion Cell, and she's the one in charge of emotions. So whereas Reason is the one that's logical, Emotion is the one that, aside from love, because love is separate, Emotion is the one that kind of thinks about things from a emotional perspective, how she's feeling at the moment versus how she's thinking. Fashion Cell is really funny actually. Fashion Cell had been in jail, in cell jail, because she accidentally went on a spending spree and used up a majority of her paycheck. So Fashion Cell's in jail. But Fashion Cell is the one in charge of what she wears, her daily outfits, plus what she would wear on a date. Then we have Sensual Cell or Lust Cell. That's the one that feels sexual feelings towards romantic partners. And he has gotten her in trouble quite a bit. in some awkward situations. Then we have Hysterical Cell. Hysterical Cell is kind of like the antagonistic cell. All these cells care about Yumi a lot. They want what's best for her. But Hysterical Cell doesn't trust her romantic partners and is the one that tries to shut everyone out to protect the host body, or Yumi. So he has good intentions, but he's really destructive. Then there's Detective Cell, who's the one that kind of analyzes situations. Detective Cell isn't always on the mark. He's a little slow on things and a little over the top, but often he does get things right, and he's the one that helps Yumi determine if something is suspicious or if she should be on her guard. And then finally, we have Anxiety Cell, a cell that I can relate to quite a bit. Anxiety Cell is the one that's always worried and anxious and wants to make sure that everything's going to be okay, that everyone is going to look at Yumi in a positive light. They're the one that is always always looking at the pessimistic side of things and wondering, oh, when and where can something go wrong? So yeah, she's adorable though, because she's like, she just wants to make sure Yumi's okay and Yumi's safe, as do all these cells. So that's a little intro into all these cells. Honestly, when I first watched it, I was like blown away with how cute the animations were, and I really was hoping, I was like wishing like, oh, I really want cells like this. I want my cells to care about me this much. Anyway, okay, so now that we talked about the cells, let's get back to the story. So, like I said, prior to the start of the show, she had been through a bad breakup and hadn't dated since. But she does have a crush on one of her coworkers, Che-Ugi, who is played by Minho from the K-pop group SHINee. You may recognize him. She has a crush on him. He is from the sales department, and she's trying to find a way to approach him. But because her love cell is dormant, she's always really awkward and missing the timing and missing cues and misinterpreting advances. So sometimes she's not quite sure if he is flirting with her or if he's genuinely being just a nice coworker. And because this is a rom-com, of course, she has a sort of love rival, Ruby, who is also in the same department as her. Yumi and Ruby are both in the accounting department. Ugi is in the sales department. And so Ruby is constantly trying to butt in between Yumi and Ugi's relationship. But Yumi, with the help of her cells, manages to kind of worm her way into an opportunity to hang out one-on-one with Ugi. However, because of certain incompatibilities, their relationship does not work out. However, because Ugi thinks that Yumi is a great person, he decides to set her up on a blind date with one of his best friends, who is Koo Wong. Koo Wong is a game developer, and he is completely, in terms of personality, the opposite of her. He's really blunt, straightforward. He likes to just speak his mind. He doesn't really think about gossip, or he doesn't really get jealous, anything like that. He's like the total opposite of Yumi, who tends to worry about everything and overanalyze everything. Now, what's interesting about this show is that Yumi is not the only one with cells that are constantly making sure that she's functioning properly. Everyone has cells. Now, we don't get to see everyone's cells, but we do get to see Wong's cells. Some of them, at least. We get to see mainly his, from his perspective. We'll sometimes see his reason or rationality cell at work, as well as his love cell. So it's kind of cool because we get to see kind of what he's thinking about when he's interacting with Yumi, how he kind of malfunctions when he's having a doki doki moment and when his heart is palpitating. Yeah, so they end up going on a blind date, and at first, Yumi actually isn't too fond of him. He didn't dress up. He's just wearing flip-flops, shorts. He didn't shave his mustache or beard. He didn't wash his hair. He's just wearing like a day-old t-shirt that hasn't been cleaned, probably has stains on it. And he just doesn't seem like he really put himself together for the date. He doesn't seem like he really put a lot of effort and doesn't really care. So she's kind of grossed out. And she's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go on this blind date because Ugi set us up and I don't want to disappoint him. But after this, I'm never gonna contact him again. However, from Wong's perspective, the moment he sees her, he is love-struck. He ends up malfunctioning and can't actually speak to her properly. His brain goes offline and his cells actually end up panicking, trying to bring him back online. He's completely enamored by her. He thinks that she's adorable, she's pretty, she's cute. She has a great sense of humor because he told her some of his dumb jokes. And she laughed politely, out of politeness, but he thought that she actually thought he was funny, and he was like, wow, we are so compatible. And it was really funny because he was completely OOC, totally out of character. He was pretty much dumbstruck in her presence. And so it's really cute seeing their dynamic, how they start off as blind dates, and how they're start off as friends but kind of like distant, and how he tries to move closer and how she tries to pull away. And then later on, they do end up in a relationship. They do end up dating because he is really genuine and he is really sweet, and he's there when she is in a dark place, and so she gives him a chance, and they end up start dating, and then they have this cute lovey-dovey relationship. And then factors come in, external factors happen, love rivalries end up interfering, and then they fall apart. Everything falls apart. And I was so sad when this happens. But yeah, so this show is pretty much a slice of life that follows Yumi's love trials, as well as her promotions at work, and how she's trying to get through life in her early 30s. Yes, that's a brief summary. Yes, I hope that made sense. Okay, now I'm gonna move on to what I liked and didn't like about Yumi's cells. But before that, I'm gonna let you guys know right now there will be spoilers. Major spoilers. Spoilers that include the ending of the show, the finale of the season. So if you have not watched Yumi's cells yet, or you plan to and don't want to get spoiled, then go watch it and then come back and you can check out my analysis discussion after. Okay, I warned you guys. So, what did I like about the show? Number one, the adorable, cute 3D animations. The animations are so cute. At first, so they animate all the cells to be in like kind of like 3D and like really round and soft and bouncy. And then there's also the live action aspect, which is Yumi and all the actors. Now, at first, I was worried that there would be kind of a weird, it wouldn't mesh well. I was worried that it would be awkward, the transition from going back and forth between 2D, well, not 2D, 3D animation to live action. But they actually were able to seamlessly transition back and forth. And I thought it was actually really smart later on, because then it really helps differentiate what's going on inside her body and her head versus what's going on externally in her surroundings. So the animation was really good, really seamless. Also, the cells themselves are really cute. They all have a uniform, like a blue leotard, that goes around their hair, and then their head and their hair sticks out sometimes, and they have little accessories to kind of differentiate them. So like Love Cell actually has a little, you don't see it here, but she actually has a little antenna on her top of her head with a little heart on it, and she also has a little cape, and she's also the only one that has a different color from the rest of the cells. She's wearing pink, whereas all the other cells wear blue. The Hunger Cell actually has a little fish sticking out of the top of his head. No, not a fish. A tteokbokki. No, yeah, tteokbokki, right? Like the Korean spicy rice cake, it's sticking out on an antenna on top of his head like a skewer, and it's really, really cute because it wobbles around when he runs. Hunger Cell actually is gigantic compared to all the other cells, because I guess as a prime cell, her hunger is one of her defining features, defining parts of her personality. So he's actually a giant compared to everyone else. He's probably like 5 times bigger than all of the other cells, which I think is interesting. Fashion Cell wears like big rimmed glasses as well as a snapback with the words Yumi on it, so she's kind of like cool, you know? Lust Cell, Sensual Cell, doesn't wear pants. He's just in his undies. So he likes to show some skin and is a little bit of a pervert, but all the other cells have to put up with him because he's one of them. Hysteric Cell, I think, also wears a cape. He wears like a red cape, I think, maybe. He likes to carry around gadgets because he likes to antagonize and terrorize all the other cells. Detective Cell has a little detective hat, kind of like Sherlock Holmes. He has like a little like hat that looks like Sherlock Holmes' hat because he's a detective, and he has a little like plaid, I guess, like coat or coat that he wears on him, like a detective's coat, pretty much. And then Anxiety Cell has little antennas, like 2 little bunny ears on her head, which I think is so cute. And I don't know how that represents anxiety, but they just made her really adorable, little bunny ears. So a majority of the cells have their own little defining characteristics that really make them all the more adorable to look at and interact with. Now, that is what actually sold me to start watching the show. I saw some snippets, some screenshots of the cells, and I was like, these are so cute. I want to know who they are and how they interact with the rest of the story. And I was not disappointed. They honestly are one of the biggest reasons why the show, I think, was so good, because they were like, half the show is pretty much animation, and they really carried the show with the backgrounds and their voices and their personalities. Amazing, amazing. Honestly, if you want to watch it just for how cute they are, then please do. Okay, next are, I really appreciated the classic romance tropes that you normally see in K-dramas. They had the unrequited love between Yumi and Ugi. They had the love at first sight with Wong and Yumi. They had the awkward blind dates, really, really awkward. They were on completely total different wavelengths. Yumi is like, I'm trying to be polite, but I am not texting you back. Whereas Wong is like, wow, we are totally compatible and we are gonna get married. Well, not married, but we are totally made for each other. Then we also have fake dating for benefits. Yes, we, not like, it wasn't a big trope, but there was a moment on their first date where Yumi and Wong, wait, it was their second date, I believe, was it? Yes, it was was it their first? It was either their first or second date. No, it was their first date, yes. So after they went out to get some coffee, Wong didn't want her to leave so soon, so he invited her out to a frog carnival or a frog festival, a frog themed festival. And at the front, they were gonna buy tickets, and the person at the desk said, well, if you're a couple, you get a discount. And so Yumi was like, her frugal cell, or her cell that's in charge of making monetary decisions, started going off. They were like, yes, pretend that you guys are dating because we want to get a discount. We want to save money. Money is important. And so she ropes Wong into pretending that they're dating in order to get the discount. And they also had to take a couple picture to be posted on this this wall or something that showed off different couples who attended the festival. And so she like put aside her pride to for money, which, you know, understandable. A lot of people can relate to that. And it's like a white lie, right? Like, it's not hurting anyone. They're pretending to be dating. Wong doesn't mind. Wong thinks they're already dating. And Kim Yumi is like, well, I'm never gonna see him again, so whatever, right? So the fake dating with benefits scene was kind of cute. Then we also had a Princess Carrie scene. So, there was a scene where Yumi was feverish. She got sick, and she was sitting at the bus stop because she was planning to go home, but then she fainted. She ended up passing out because of her fever, and it was raining, so she probably also caught a cold. So Wong completely panics. He's like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? I can't take her home, and there's no pharmacy around here. He looks around, he sees a hospital, he picks her up in a Princess Carrie hold, abandons his umbrella, and runs with her all the way to the hospital. Now, get you a man who will pick you up and run you to the hospital in a Princess Carrie if you're not feeling well. Oh, that was so romantic. Like, and Yumi was kind of half out of it, so she only vaguely remembers it happening, but like, she was still also touched by it. And I think that's what also kind of triggered her change in perspective about him. And that's what kind of, I think, changed her mind about dating him. That's kind of what motivated her to give him a second chance. And then they had a really sweet romance after they ended up getting together. And then there was also an umbrella scene, which actually took place before the Princess Carrie scene. She was leaving work because she wasn't feeling well, and she was just really emotional because she was just really sad about, she was still not over Ugi turning her down. And then she was also not really happy about how her and Wong's first date went. She was like, this was terrible. I don't know why I went on it in the first place. And she was just really in her feels and really sad. And Wong came up to her. He came up to her right at the very at the right moment with an umbrella to shield her from the rain. And she thought that was super romantic. And we see that a lot in classic K-drama scenes where the girl is standing there in the rain and then the guy comes with the umbrella to shield her and he's dripping wet and he's letting her get dry with the umbrella. And so we've got all these classic K-drama moments, but it wasn't cheesy. It wasn't cringy the way you might think it is. It was actually really touching because she was really emotional in a really dark place at the moment. So I love that they included all these classic scenes, you know? Like, as a seasoned K-drama watcher, I really appreciated it and I loved it, yes. And then, okay, and so another pro is just how wholesome they are together. How wholesome Yumi and Wong's relationship is before they end up having troubles. Before that, when they're in their honeymoon phase of dating, there are so many wholesome moments. Wong, for example, Wong has a beard, right? He didn't shave on their first date. When Yumi initially didn't text him back, Wong spent all night waiting for her to text back, and he got super worried, thinking, oh my gosh, did she get hurt? Did she fall asleep? Why didn't she text me back? Am I dumped? And this is the first time he's ever acted like this. So it really shows how much he's enamored by her and how much he likes her. And then he's thinking, was it the beard? And even though it took him years to grow that beard and he really loved his beard, he shaved it off because he's like, well, it's either the beard or Yumi. And obviously, I want Yumi to like me. So I'm gonna shave my beard, even though it means a lot to me. And then there was a scene where it actually showed his cell that's in charge of growing his beard being held down by the other cells as they shave off his hair. And so Wong is like low-key heartbroken about having to shave, but it was worth it because Yumi liked it. So, you know what? Good for him, I guess. And there was a really funny there was a funny scene when he first came over to her house to celebrate her birthday, and unfortunately he had a bad stomach ache, and he needed to use the bathroom, and so he ended up going to her bathroom and clogging it. That is the worst thing that could happen to someone if they are on a date and visiting their date's home. How could you clog? First of all, to even go number 2 in their bathroom is already really awkward, and then clogging it, oh my gosh. And you know, Yumi actually was really understanding. She was like, I could help you plunge it if you're having trouble. And he's like, no, my pride as a man is on stake. Is at stake. I can't let you plunge my diarrhea. Oh my gosh, it was so gross because they had to censor it, and as he was looking at it, and he was panicking because it started to bubble up. But he managed to save himself, and he managed to unclog the toilet. And Yumi didn't embarrass him. She was really understanding, and she even rubbed his tummy and gave him some warm water, and it was so cute. They were so cute. Don't you want someone to rub your tummy if you're not feeling well? I want someone to rub my tummy if I'm feeling sick. Damn. Honestly, they were so cute together. Yes, so if you want to see a really cute relationship, if you want to see couple goals, then that's one of the pros of this show. They are so cute. They are like sugary sweet, almost cavity level sweet of how cute they are. Yes. Okay, now of course, because everything is going swimmingly well, there's gonna have to be some cons. There's gonna be some problems. Something is gonna come in and destroy this happiness that we have invested our emotions in, okay? So, with that being said, I'm gonna move on to the cons of the show. Now, these are gonna include major spoilers. Major spoilers alert. Okay, I warned you. Okay. So there are 2 major cons with what I personally have with the show. Some people may disagree with me. They might not think it's as bad as I'm making it out to be. I personally was very frustrated with these elements of the show. Number 1, the lack of communication. Now, you're thinking, well, this is to be expected, right? There's always going to be miscommunication in a relationship. Yes, there is. The problem is that they don't talk about it. And the miscommunication gets worse because they keep their thoughts bottled up inside instead of trying to talk it out and really explain themselves. And it was really frustrating to see because then you know that they really like each other and they really want their relationship to work, but at the end of the day, their pride gets in the way and they end up not saying what they really want to say. They keep self-censoring. Why? Why would you do that? You want to stay together. You're fighting for this relationship, right? Why would you not want to speak your mind and let your troubles out and work it out? Okay, so in terms of lack of communication, there were a few things, and since we're watching this show from Yumi's perspective, the problems end up lying with Wong, on Wong's end. It's pretty much mostly Yumi's insecurities and then Wong's lack of sensitivity, I guess, to matters. So, for example, there is this female colleague that he has that works at his game developer company. She is also she is his college friend. They've known each other for over 10 years, and so they have history, right? Now, he has a history with her. He's never dated her, but he had always suspected that she may have had a crush on him, but he asked her about it and she never confirmed. So he figured, okay, well, I guess we're just colleagues then, right? And he left it at that. He has no romantic feelings towards this female friend. However, this female friend does actually have romantic feelings toward him. And she keeps encroaching on his boundaries with the excuse of being longtime friends with him. So, for example, she'll come over she moved into the same apartment as him, and then she, like a few floors down, and then she would constantly pass by his apartment to borrow things. She would also kind of put her hand on him sometimes, and he doesn't think anything about it. He thinks that they're just colleagues, right? But for her, she's using this as a way to get Yumi jealous. And so the problem is that Yumi thinks that, wow, you have to set some boundaries with her, Wong-ah, because she's gonna think that you're allowing her to get closer to him, allowing her to get closer, and if you don't set any boundaries, then it's gonna make Yumi really insecure about the relationship. Now, Wong doesn't see this as a problem. So the issue here is that he's kind of dense. He doesn't see his female colleague as an issue because in his head, his female colleague, his female friend does not have a chance with him. He's only in love with Yumi. He has no feelings towards his friend. So he's thinking, well, you don't have to worry about me being swayed because I don't like her. However, Yumi thinks that because you have a girlfriend now, right? Yumi's your girlfriend, that you should not be so intimate or friendly with other female friends. Wong gets kind of defensive about it because he's thinking, well, but I don't understand the issue. So he doesn't understand what's the problem, whereas Yumi thinks that he is purposely just being dense and not caring about her feelings. And so there's that issue. And then Wong ends up actually lying to Yumi, and that's a big no-no. You should not lie in relationships because that will also only increase the misunderstandings. Wong kind of has a feeling that his female friend likes him. And because he's worried that Yumi will blow things out of proportion, according to him, he ends up lying to her. So, for example, his female friend gave him a jar of some yuzu preservatives, right? Like some orange flavored spread. And Yumi is like, oh, who made this? And she suspects that maybe his female friend gave it to him. Now he's thinking the same thing. He's thinking, oh, will Yumi get jealous or angry if she finds out that I got this from my female friend? So instead of being honest and open with her, he just lies. He just says, well, he omits the truth, which Yumi considers lying. Wong says, I just got it from someone. And at that moment, Yumi already kind of had a feeling that if he's gonna lie about this or omit the truth here, then he'll omit the truth in the future. And he does kind of do that. When his female friend ends up moving into his apartment, he doesn't tell Yumi this Yumi only finds out because she happens to be passing by his apartment to drop off some food, and she sees his female colleague also on her way to his room, and that she ends up actually borrowing some stuff from him. And so that's when Yumi and Wong end up having their first real argument as a couple, where Yumi ends up airing out her grievances, talking about how you need to set clear boundaries with this friend because I'm your girlfriend now and she can't be this intimate with you. And Wong gets defensive and angry because he feels like that he has been really straightforward with his friend and that it shouldn't be a problem, so why is Yumi yelling at him? He didn't do anything wrong. And so yes, that's kind of where things start to crack in their relationship a bit. Then another big thing, which is actually the bigger issue and miscommunication that happens, which ultimately leads up to their breakup, is that Wong is not doing so well financially. He's an entrepreneur. He runs his own game developing business. He develops games, and so it's not doing so well. They're not making a lot of money, and so he's not in a good financial position. So instead of letting Yumi know about this, he keeps it a secret from her. He initially was living, he had to put his apartment up for rent. He had to sell his apartment and was living inside his office. When Yumi found out, he moved in with her for a little bit and they were living a cute little romantic, like newlywed bliss. But then his pride started getting in the way and he was thinking that he was too embarrassed to be living off his girlfriend, so he moved out. But he didn't tell Yumi why he was moving out. So she thought that he was scared away by her because she had suggested that maybe they consider getting married. And she was worried that, oh, does Wong not want to get married? Is he not interested? And so Yumi has her own worries because she's 32 and she's starting to think about marriage as a prospect. And she can imagine marrying Wong and being his wife and, you know, him being her husband. But Wong ended up, shortly after she brought it up, Wong moved out. And so she thought that, wow, so was Wong really not really serious about this relationship? And then Wong, of course, doesn't dislike the thought of marriage. It was just that he wasn't in a financial position to think about marriage. And so he ended up moving out, but not telling Yumi why. So Yumi thinks he moved out because he doesn't want to get married and that he's going to slowly back away from her. Wong moved out and thought, oh, well, as long as I still meet up with her, it shouldn't be a problem, right? Wrong. This was the beginning of the end. Now, let me talk about the biggest issue, the biggest grievance I had with this show. Major spoilers. The ending. Yumi and Wong end up breaking up at the end of the show. They both don't want to break up, but both of their prides cannot accept the other keeping secrets from each other, and so they break up. Now, I was devastated. I was so sad. I was not expecting it. I felt like I was punched in the face, okay, guys? I thought they were so cute together. I invested all of my emotions into this couple, and then the show ends up with them breaking up. I was livid, guys, okay? I needed answers, okay? And so at the end of the last episode, it does let us know that there is gonna be a second season. And so at first I wasn't too worried. I was thinking, okay, a second season. So maybe they purposely left their relationship off at a cliffhanger because, you know, they want to have content for season 2, right? I figured, okay, maybe they broke up, but they're gonna get back together in the second season, right? And so I was hoping that was true, but then I had to check the webtoon, right? Because this is actually based on a webtoon. I will link the actual webtoon in the description if you want to check it out. It's on webtoon.com. I will let you know the details. But I had to check the webtoon because I needed to know for sure. Do they get back together? Spoiler alert, they do not. They are actually over. They are actually 100% really over each other. Like, it's over. It's over. The relationship is gone. It's dead. It's destroyed. It's broken. They are never, ever, ever getting back together. And you best believe I died a little inside when I found out, okay? Because I thought they were perfect for each other. They were so cute. They were opposites, but you know how they say opposites attract, right? And so I thought they made each other better. I thought they were a great fit. But I find out on the webtoon that not only do they not get back together, she ends up eventually marrying someone else. And so I feel betrayed as a viewer. I'm thinking, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't sign up for a breakup. What? Now, I know I was reading comments because I wanted to know what other people thought, and it was mixed, right? There were mixed reactions to this. There were some people who were actually happy that they broke up because they felt like Wong wasn't being honest with Yumi and he wasn't good, and then that if they were going to continue on the trajectory they were going, the relationship would have ended up being destructive, which I can understand. There was a big lack of communication, and Wong had his own priorities, and so unfortunately Yumi wasn't his first priority. His pride was, and so that's why he couldn't bring himself to tell her about his situation because of his pride. But on Yumi's case, originally, you know, Wong was her first priority, but she eventually learned to put herself first, and that's why she also mutually decided on the breakup. I understand how people can perceive this as a toxic relationship that wouldn't last, and why it was good that she broke up with him. Then there was the other side of reactions, the side that I'm on. The people that were so disappointed and heartbroken with the ending, and with the fact that their relationship is over, because I thought they were so good for each other, and I thought that maybe with more time, they would have learned to put each other first. And that because I know they dated for about a year, but you know, some people date for many years, you know? And so I feel like they could have still worked it out. Also, I know a lot of people were praising the show praising the ending at least, because it was realistic, right? In real life, you know, not all relationships will work out. You will break up, and you will end up dating, and you will end up finding people that you think are the one, and then they're not. And, you know, life goes on, right? I understand. However, I did not watch this show for real life. I did not watch this show for realism. I don't watch K-dramas for realism. That's why I often don't watch slice of life shows, because I want to watch fantasy, things that aren't real, things that are, that exceed reality, right? Because, let's be honest, real life ain't that awesome. Real life, a lot of times, real life sucks. Real life isn't happy. Often, reality doesn't give you a happy ending. You end up having to settle, or you end up being sad or emotional, and things aren't a fairy tale. Fairy tales rarely ever happen in real life, which is why I watch K-dramas, because I want to see the fairy tale happily ever after. I want to see the fairy tale ending. I don't want to see people breaking up and being sad and having fights. I want to see couples that are being cute and being happy together. That's why I watch K-dramas. And I assume that they would have ended up having a happy ending because there was already a magical realism aspect to the show with her cells. So I didn't expect that we would get like real, like we would end up with like some like a real breakup, you know what I mean? I watch shows for dopamines and happy endings, not for disappointment and reality, okay guys? But yeah, I did not sign up for being sad, and now I'm sad and I want my feelings back. I invested a lot of emotion and feeling and love for this couple, and it just got trampled on and destroyed, and I want my time and my feelings back, okay? Like I said, a part of me died inside when they broke up, and I was like left in a state of disbelief. I was thinking for sure they're gonna get back together in season 2. And I spoiled myself because I had to know, right? I had to know if they would be happy. Nope. It's over. It's over, guys. It's over. No matter how good they were together, it's over. It's over, guys. And that's also why often I end up only looking for shows that have happy endings. I don't want to watch a show that's bittersweet or a show that ends in tragedy, because I need closure, okay? This show did not give me closure. Them breaking up does not give me closure. Sorry, I know I'm getting really emotional and heated over this, but I feel like I was betrayed because I expected a happy ending and I wasn't given that. And I don't know, after finding out that they really are done as a couple, I don't know if I'm gonna watch season 2 because I know that the guy she ends up dating in season 2, they also end up not working out. So like, do I even want to watch season 2? Because I'm gonna get heartbroken again. I don't want to invest my emotions and feelings into her and her new relationship in season 2, only for it to break down again. So yeah, I don't know. As of right now, I'm having mixed emotions, and I'm probably not gonna watch season 2. Although I still like the actors and actresses. I don't know. I feel like I can't hurt my heart again. I don't want to be hurt again. Because I feel like when they broke up, I also went through a breakup. That's what it felt to me. Like, I felt like I was also breaking up with the characters, and that really hurt. Like, I was really emotional, guys. Okay, but wow. Sorry for getting emotional, for getting heated. I just, you know, I really love them. I really love them together. I really love them as separate people too. And I just didn't want them to break up. Oh, well, okay, yeah. Well, I got a little emotional there. Yeah, have you guys watched season 2? No, what? No. Have you guys watched Yumi Cells? I'm sorry if I was too negative. These are just how I'm feeling right now, and I wanted to vent to someone. Do you plan to watch Yumi Cells even though I low-key spoiled, well, I high-key spoiled everything for you? If you have watched the show, what are your thoughts? Did you like the ending, or did you agree or disagree with it? Did you want them to stay together, or did you want them to break up? Will you be watching season 2 of Yumi Cells? At this moment, I probably won't, but I'll have to see how I'm feeling. I guess as they say, time heals all wounds, right? So right now, the wound is still really fresh. Maybe by the time the second season comes out, the wound will have healed and I'll be ready to love again. I'll be ready to open my heart to these characters again. But until then, I am still sad and I'm gonna go and watch only happy things. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed me just letting out my feelings and getting emotional over this stuff, because I love K-dramas so much, and I really invest a lot of energy into watching these because I end up really loving the characters, and when something bad happens to them, I also physically feel it in my heart. So I just wanted them to be happy, you know? That's all I wanted. But anyway, this is getting a little long, sorry. Thank you for watching. Again, I will link Yumi Cells, the webtoon, in the description if you want to read the webtoon instead, or if you want to check it out in any capacity. But other than that, I hope you guys have a good one, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!